Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome to another Topcon Solutions Bluebeam webinar. For today, we're doing Bluebeam Revu 20. So what's new in the new release of Bluebeam Revu? Again, I want to thank you all for joining us. And I just wanted to say hi, show my face here a little bit this morning. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my webcam so you guys don't have to watch me the entire time. But we're going to go ahead and let's see if I can share my screen here. Oh. Wendy, can you pass my screen sharing, please? But thank you again for joining us. Oh, I did want to say today's webinar will be recorded. If you guys happen to miss some of it or you'd like to go back and watch it again at any point in time, it will be on our website here under the topconsolutions.com, and look for either the You're Invited or under tech support, you will see videos. Okay, so under that technical support, this is where a lot of our videos from previous webinars, recorded webinars, or tips and tricks videos, things like that are typically hosted. So feel free to navigate here at any point in time to find any of those webinars, and this one will also be on there. While you're there though, we also have a You're Invited tab. This is going to let you know anything that we have coming up. So we're showing, of course, the review webinar we're doing today, and then an upcoming Autodesk webinar for generative design. Okay, so let me get back to my PowerPoint here. So I wanted to start off by telling you a little bit about us. Topcon Solutions, we are the retail arm of Topcon Positioning Systems, the world leader in construction layout, machine automation, and land surveying products. Along with that, we sell the complete portfolio of Topcon products. Topcon Solutions is a Platinum Tier award-winning Autodesk value-added reseller, and we are also a Platinum level Bluebeam partner with certified instructors on staff. Now, we are also located in 13, well, we have 13 brick and mortar locations, and our span kind of reaches out into 20 states, including Washington, D.C. So before we get into what we're going to cover, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is David Campbell. I am an application specialist with Topcon Solutions Store, and I am a Bluebeam certified instructor, certified consultant. And I train on all things that are Bluebeam. So I'm hosting this today to kind of help talk you guys through what features and what improvements Revu 20 has. So with that, Revu, we know it helps the AEC professionals increase accuracy, reduce costs, and minimize risks with features that enable a variety of processes during design and construction. With Revu 20, they've really focused on improving the collaboration and communication and task efficiency for this release. So we'll see one of the first things that we've kind of seen with this is that we can get more done together with Studio and Revu. So they have done a Studio or some Studio improvements. They have improved the user and content management capabilities for greater flexibility and control. So we're going to see that here in a second when I demo this for you guys. Next, they've actually improved the markups. So you're going to see new improved markup and measurement tools to help you effectively communicate. You're going to see improved markup list filters to better manage your project data. And I got a few little other things I want to show you guys. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and check it out. So Revu 20 itself, you're not going to notice a huge change in terms of the interface, thank goodness. So we're sticking with the same interface. We're still going to have our same drop downs, everything like that. You have access to your toolbars, awesome tools, and all of your tabs. So one of the things I wanted to start with was some of the markup improvements. And with that, let's start with something like our callout or a text box. Okay, so one big thing we're going to see is that I'm going to go ahead and just put this one up here. Any let's say markup, text box, call out, anything like that can now accept the add leader. Okay, so you can add a leader to any markup now. And you know what's really cool about this too is as you move around, notice my leader is repositioning. Okay, it's resnapping. So that's a great feature. Before we used to just be able to do that with the callouts. You know, we could go ahead and add more leaders and keep going that way. But now they've pretty much applied it to all the markups. Now, another big thing that we've been waiting for is actually in the measurement tools, and that's our poly length tool. Now, I don't know how many of you have played with the polyline tool or the line tool, and then have played with the poly length tool itself. But normally with the polyline and the line tool, we could grab a custom line style and place that within those tools, within that line, right? With the poly length tool, not so much. We could go into the properties, you know, we go into our line styles, and we'd be kind of restricted to the standard types. Well, for this year's release, you are going to see, of course, we do have access to the advanced types, but we can also create our own line style. So if you are creating these for, let's say, you know, you're tracking water lines, you're tracking PVC 1.5 inch, 3 inch, what have you, or maybe this is a gas line, you know, anything like that, we can go ahead and place those or create those line styles, and then go ahead and place them on our sheets. So I could go ahead and say this is going to be webinar example. Okay, and here's where we're going to add our first style. Okay, and essentially from there we can go and choose our dashes, our spaces, you know, our text, vector, dots, anything like that, to really build out and customize our lines. So I think that's a great feature, especially in these poly length tools, just for identifying and separating our different tools. If you guys are building these tool chests with some smart information built into those markups, just having something like this line style to help identify or break it apart from others, I think is a great feature. Now, another thing that you're going to see pretty much having to do with the markups as well is in your markups list. So let me take this up a little bit here. Notice that we have the same kind of filter icon, but now it says filter list. In that sense, notice also when I activate it, we used to have the little filter icon that would populate next to all of your columns. This time they pretty much just light up, and then what you're going to see is those little sliders, and we can click in those sliders and find any saved filters. So right now I don't have any saved filters, but what I can do is, let's say I want to use that poly length measurement and I want to find who it was by. So we're going to say by me. Okay. And there we go. And if I want to save this filter, all I have to do, let's call this poly length by Dave. I'm going to take down that Y there. Poly length by Dave. Oh, I got to misspell something this morning too. But here's essentially how I can just go ahead and save that filter. Now it's stuck at that point in time. If I ever need to use this again, I just go ahead and click on that filter. And again, another cool thing about this is that it stays inside of Revu. So I can jump around from different document to different document if I want to and keep activating that saved filter. I don't have to rebuild that every single time. So that's going to be a huge time saver for finding any specific comments. If you're looking for bitmap surface, you're doing takeoffs, you want to find certain materials, or you're doing a design review and you want to find, you know, specific comments from individuals or disciplines, what have you. It's a very powerful tool for helping us kind of get that information quickly, okay? Now, another thing I did want to talk about, let me close this markups list here. I'm going to close my other panel. They've actually put in a new feature, which actually, let me clear that filter first, huh? There we go. They put in a new feature under help. You're going to find tools and commands. So let's say I want to find studio. As soon as I type in studio, it's going to bring up my new studio project, open studio project tab, and the studio actual panel here. Okay, so this is a great way again to also find any information inside of Revu in terms of features or tools. This is very helpful if you're new to Bluebeam Revu. I know that finding things, especially if they're hidden at first, when you get into these profiles, it can be a little difficult to know how to click or what to click to get those items up. Now we can go ahead and just click in here, and I notice I don't have my spaces, so why don't I do that? If I go with a space, okay, I have my spaces tab here, highlight, edit, add space. All of those tools are right there. Okay, so very easy to find, and then you're going to notice it also brings it for or to the front for me. Okay, so that's also I felt pretty important. Now, last couple of things I want to say for this. You're also going to notice that they've improved the rendering engine for Revu 20. And I know this is something that we talk about a lot, right? Every year, trying to get better with the rendering in terms of not just when you zoom in and out, but let's say that you have a big document set and you have a lot of markups. These document or markup heavy documents, excuse me, these markup heavy documents can really be hard on this rendering engine inside of Bluebeam Revu. For Revu 20, they have upgraded that to try and keep up with those markup heavy documents. You're going to see an improvement with that. And another thing that I would also recommend looking at for when you are seeing that kind of struggle a little bit, make sure you're getting into your preferences and check out under the advanced tab with your rendering. What rendering engine are you using? The hardware, software, legacy. What rendering mode are you using? So play with your settings a little bit to get that optimal optimal area of where you can go with that rendering speed and how often it renders. All right. So we're going to see some more improvements there. Also, we're going to see with Studio. So this is the kind of other portion of the improvements. They are constantly improving Studio as well. One big thing to any of our friends overseas in Australia, we will have, or do have rather, a Australian hosted Studio server now. So that was an improvement brought to Studio this year. Along with that, there have been improvements with managing Studio projects and managing Studio sessions. There's a couple different things you'll notice. When we get in, as soon as you get into your session, you're going to see joined and not joined. Okay, this, if you're the administrator, if you started it, this is really just going to let you know who has not yet joined your session. So you know what? Hey, Paul, let's go ahead and send a reminder out to join my session. Please join this session. Go ahead and send a reminder. So that's going to send an email out to Paul in this case, who's going to get this email and he's going to look at it essentially, and it's going to remind him, hey, you have this session going on. It'd be good of you to jump into it and join all of us. Okay, so it's going to send a nice gentle reminder there. You're also going to notice that if I leave that session there, it's going to tell you what sessions that you have joined and not joined. So if you have an invitation that's sitting there, you can go ahead and jump in right here and then find any of those sessions or projects. So it's both ways, sessions or projects, okay? And it gives you that opportunity to go ahead and jump into those, okay? Another improvement that I've seen is that you can actually, when you're inviting members, you can actually invite members that don't currently have a Studio account. See, before when you tried to send out those invitations, it wouldn't really let you, didn't like to. So at this point though, we can go ahead, either of course type or paste the email, add emails from groups, which is awesome, and then use your address book. So if I wanted to type this out, let's say j@topconsolutions.com. All right, and we say check and include emails, and then invite participants. Okay, now Joey, in this case, does not have a Studio account, but I've been able to send that email out, and when he gets that invitation, he can jump into Studio create that username and password or register his email address, and then join right into the session that I've invited him to. All right, so that's also another awesome improvement for me. That way we can send it out if somebody, needs to download the free trial and get access to the studio session from that. They would still be able to, of course, get the invitation, create that studio account, log in, and cooperate with everyone else. All right. So with the studio invites improvements, it's said to be a great addition. There have been people that we've been talking to about how do they feel about some of these improvements. An engineering technician let us know that they had issues in the past where some users' invites were going to their spam mail, or they would look over the email completely. And it's just very nice to be able to send out that gentle reminder, right, letting people know, hey, please join into my session. All right, with those markup list improvements, we're seeing that the export summaries are very useful for submitting to clients for takeoff verifications, and that the markup list filtering tool is hands down the best improvement to Bluebeam ever. It is a great tool, though. We can save those filters and keep that moving forward. So I do enjoy that feature quite a bit. Another thing we're going to see is that the ability, of course, to get those leader lines to come out of one or more sides of all sides of those keynotes or text boxes or anything. We've been talking about this for a while. I know I've been wondering about this since the call out, when I'm seeing the leader come off of it, like, why can't I do this with a text box or a note? The next thing we've actually got is, of course, that find tool. It's extremely easy to use, and it's I'd say far less clunky. I'd agree with this, far less clunky than the old method of searching and trying to find these tools just manually. All right, so as far as support and training for Bluebeam Revu, if you guys are looking for any tech support, implementation support, deployment, or training, we are here to help you. Okay, Topcon Solutions has a professional services team that really specializes in full technical support, implementations, and training assistance. We support businesses in establishing best practice processes for plan review, helping to navigate the challenges of technology adoption across multiple departments, and shorten the permit review timelines, save money on paper and its associated costs. Now, whether you're new to Bluebeam Revu or you've been using it for years, we have the right offering to help you deliver a best-in-class service for your clients. And now, if you'd like more info on our services or what we can offer, you can email topconsolutions.com or respond to the survey that you receive after this webinar. And in saying that as well, Review 20 is available now. You can download it here on topconsolutions.com/Bluebeam Revu. So you can go to that website, download the free trial of Review 20. Now, I do also want to let you all know it is possible to run two versions of Bluebeam Revu right next to each other. So if you have, let's say, 18 or you have 19, and you really want to test 20 out, go ahead and download it, run it side by side, and see if it makes sense for you to upgrade to move forward, or just test it out to make sure that it feels good for what you guys do. Run that side by side. Now, I also want to let you know, keep an eye out for our Bluebeam tips and tricks videos. So I've been making some different videos for Bluebeam, whether it's making smart tools, it's the workflow between projects and sessions, managing your data in projects, 3D PDFs, a lot of different videos that our team and I are kind of putting together. You'll find those hosted on YouTube, on Twitter, LinkedIn, and also on Facebook. Okay, so if you keep an eye out for those, there's a lot of good data in those, a lot of good workflows, and again, tips and tricks, free for you guys out there. Of course, we want to make as much content as we can to kind of help you guys learn and adopt Bluebeam Revu. All right, also, we are going to have a follow-up Q&A webinar on October 23rd from 9 to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So in this webinar, it is a Q&A webinar for all of you who are attending. If you guys have questions about specific features or things that we covered today, or maybe something that you didn't see and you want to see more in depth, like with those leaders or with the markups list and creating those filters, anything like that, please join us on October 23rd, and we will be there to answer any of your questions. Now, these are potential things, of course, that we could talk about also during the Q&A. So, of course, review 20 features, licensing management. If you guys have any questions on managing licenses, deployments, tool creation, your markup management, document management, or studio, please feel free to jump on and ask any questions that you have over Bluebeam Revu during that webinar. Now, thank you again for joining us. Again, we're gonna have a follow-up Q&A webinar, but does anybody have any questions for us right now before we wrap things up? Look, there is a question pane or chat pane, chat box there towards the bottom right of the floating toolbar there for GoToMeeting. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to type them in there. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions on my end. Wendy, are you seeing any questions? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, everyone. 30 minutes. That was an easy 25, 30 minutes. So get back most of your day. And again, if you guys are wanting to watch this again, look for it on our website, topconsolutions.com. Again, thank you all for joining us and have a great Friday.